Hey everyone, and welcome to a bit of a smaller video. I had some free time, so I added an extra one this week. Today I'm going to be talking about what if Operation Paul Bunyan had escalated. Now, for those of you who do not know, Operation Paul Bunyan happened after a tree blocking the view of the DMZ between North and South Korea was attempted to be trimmed by a group of American and some UN troops. Well, 2 American troops died after they were attacked by a group of around 30 North Korean troops with clubs. This was done because the North Koreans thought the tree was planted by the glorious leader himself, while the Americans said, "Screw off, this tree is blocking our view, we need to trim it." After the death of the 2 American troops, the United States sent in trucks, 2 battalions, a regiment of South Korean troops, planes, helicopters, and an aircraft carrier to aid in cutting down this tree. Well, the North Koreans sent in troops to man machine guns. They only stood down after the American Air Force flew over and decided, nah, we want to live. Now let's say that there was a slight change in this. Either the aircraft didn't fly over, or the North Korean troops did not care, and they opened fire on the American and UN troops. Well, what would have happened? Well, what would happen would be a large international crisis that would most likely evolve into war with the Americans and South Koreans against the North Koreans. The North Koreans would only be receiving a mild amount of support from the Chinese, as the Sino-Soviet split had happened between the Russians and the Chinese just a few years prior to this incident. And the Chinese were recovering from the Great Leap Forward, so they weren't going to be a whole lot of help. While yes, the Chinese did possess nukes, they only had about 25. This is compared to the American 30,000 at the time. The Americans and South Korean forces would most likely push 100 miles north of the DMZ, well past Pyongyang, only stopping when having a deal done with the Chinese. The deal between the Americans and Chinese would most likely result in the South Koreans annexing all of the land they had taken from the North Koreans, with the North Korean leadership being changed due to the escalating war that caused this conflict, leaving North Korea essentially a glorified province of China at this time, as the country would be reduced to about the size of New Jersey, with little industry or anything of note in the country left. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this bit of a smaller video. Next week will be a longer video, and I have these all uploaded. Every 2 weeks there will be a long video I'm trying to get, and I'm hopefully going to be able to post weekly as well, but these shorter videos are going to be what fills in the longer ones.